because there are probably going to be people later. All right, now I can start sharing my screen. All right, can everybody see that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. So when it comes to the conferencing, there's two sections and two ways of doing it. So there is the audio conferencing portion, where if you just need to have people just call into an actual bridge, you can have up to 1,000 people on that one bridge. How you access that is one of two ways. There's a quick little shortcut icon up on the top right here.
Sorry, Ethan, can I just jump in? What do you mean by bridge?
So this is one single number that people dial into, and they have what's called an access code to access the actual conference session. It's just another way I say conference bridge, conference session. It's just basically the same meeting place that people are going to gather.
Okay, thank you.
It's basically the same thing, Veronique, as we have on the old system. Same thing.
All right. So like I said, there are two ways of doing it. If you want to be able to just start one right away without doing a whole lot of setting changes, you can click on this little icon up on the top right here to start a conference. And what it does is it pops up this window here to add numbers. So by default, it does have a toll-free number that is Canada-wide. So if you have clients that are not based in, say, Winnipeg, or they're in places like Selkirk, the Pas, Verdun, all those places, you can just use the toll-free Canada number. And you can also add the Winnipeg number if you so wish. And then down below here, you'll notice you'll have two different codes here. The host code is the one that you as the host will log into to start the conference. And then everybody else will see this participant's code. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can either choose to write down this information because it doesn't change. It's totally unique to your extension. However, an easier way to do this would actually be just to hit this invite with email option. And what that does is it actually composes a draft with that information right in the conference window, so that way you can just send it off to your particular clients. Now, whether or not you want to start this immediately, you can choose to do that. It's all on demand. You don't have to schedule a time or anything like that. But if you want to make it a little bit easier and set it up as that way, what you can do is you can actually just take this information and copy it into an appointment, and you can send it off to your attendees that way. Now, if you wanted to see what kind of commands were available during the conference, you have this nice little view sheet down below here that has all the different commands that you can use here. So you can choose how many people are on the call, if you want to have people leave the conference, or trying to mute everybody else. You know, there's all these different commands that are kind of built in here. So I can always send this out as a kind of a brief overview to Eric, and then he can distribute it to everybody if necessary. But this is all available here within the system, so you can use that. If you have people that are joining from outside of Canada, there are international numbers that people can dial into, and then it's just based on whatever codes or whatever numbers are local to their particular region. So what I mean by that is if you have someone that's maybe based in Australia, they can call the number that's based in Australia. So that way they're not being charged however long or however much per minute to dial into Canada, because that's international long distance. We do have US options. We do have most countries on here. So you can either scroll through a list, or you can just hit search. Let's just say India, for instance, or actually India's not a good example. Let's go United Kingdom. So United Kingdom has their own number. I can just check this off, and then US is down here as well. I can check that off as well. And then when I go to actually hit that invite with email, it'll add those numbers to that same draft that I just did. It'll just compose it as a new window. Any questions about the audio conferencing? Clear as mud? All right. So now the next one that I'm going to show you here is the video conferencing. So with the video conferencing, this is the TELUS Business Connect meetings platform. So what we use to join the conference like we have today, this is going to be the software that you guys will use for your clients going forward. So in this case here, I'm just going to move my screen over here. This is the application that you can install for your computers that'll have an idea as to how you can set this all up. And so you'll have that there. When it comes to logging in to set up any of these conferences, whether it's through audio or video conferencing, this is the link that you will set up here. And then each of you will can either use your email, or you can do, there is a phone number with an extension number that you can log in with, and that'll get you into the same application here. I believe Janelle answered that question there. So I'll also provide the link in the chat for everybody. So that way they can bookmark this page for later use when it comes to it. I'll do it to everybody here. So there you have that. So for the meetings application, it is a separate application that you do download, but it's an easy download that you can do when you log into the system here. You'll have this tool section up on the top, and what you'll do is you'll click on here, and then there's a section where it's labeled meetings, and you have two options here. You'll have meeting reports, and then you'll have downloads. What you'll do is you'll select the downloads option here, and then this is the section where you can choose to download it either for Mac or for PC. And then when you download this, it'll you can go through the installation process, and then you use the exact same sign-in that you would use for this website on that application. So it makes it a little bit easier to sign in that way. Once you have signed in, you will have this application to use. So being as I'm using it right now to do the conference, I have one option to go back into the meeting itself. If I was not in the middle of a conference, I would have two options here. I can either start a conference with video immediately, or I can start a conference without video. And then I have two other options here. I can either join a meeting in progress with a meeting ID, or I can schedule one. So if I was to actually schedule a conference, what this will do is it'll actually pop up with a separate window here. What it does is it actually pops up with the date and time that you want to set it for. So if I wanted to set it for, say, May 5th at, let's just say 10 a.m., and it's an hour and a half in length. So I can easily just set the date and the time and the duration of it right here. Now this time zone will automatically update to wherever your client is based. So this just tells you what the time zone you are currently are in. So in my case, I'm on Mountain Daylight Time. For you guys, it would be more Central Standard Time. Then you have your options for video, whether or not you want to enable a video for the host and or participants. So if they don't want to have video, you can just choose to have it off by default. It won't automatically connect to the video when they join. And then for the audio options here, similar to the invite that I sent out to you guys, you'll have options to either have people call in by phone, by the built-in microphone and speaker on your computer, or by a headset. Or you can have both. In my case, I have both options enabled because some people don't have the same kind of technology that other people do. So it gives the flexibility for both people to join in. With that being said, there are options to join the conference a couple of different ways, which is really handy to have as well, and I'll go into a little bit further. You can also choose to require a password for that extra security. So in the event that you only want to put certain people into this conference because of sensitive information being sent out, you can choose to put up that password as well. You can choose other settings in here as well. So if you want to have people join before the host, or have people automatically mute, have participants muted upon entry, have it more like a webinar style, you can do that as well. And then I can choose to automatically have this meeting recorded to the computer. Once that's all done, you can choose what kind of calendar you want to put it out to. So in most cases, if your guys are using Outlook today, you can use the Outlook format. If you're using, say, Google Calendar, you can choose that option as well. Any other format, whether it's using Apple's iCalendar or through Apple Mail or whatever the case is, you can just choose this other calendar and it'll just do it as a universal format. Once you have all the parameters set that you want to use, you hit schedule, and what that does is it actually generates a meeting ID as a draft, but as a calendar appointment. So you see here, I actually have my title of the meeting that I have scheduled, and you'll notice that it's set to the date and time and duration that I had originally set on the meetings application. And then there's a link for it right in here in the location, but it's also listed down here. Now, the beauty of this is that whenever you send this out to clients, if they do not have the application installed, they just click on this link and it'll automatically download and install like you guys would have had already today. And then below it has all the options for the different parts of the country that they can log into. They'll have all over here, as well as the toll-free number, and then any other number outside of different regions, and so on and so forth. If there are, yeah, go ahead.
Can I? So I have lost your screen. I'm just seeing people. How do I get back? What do I press? Sorry.
Did you press on one of the thumbnails by accident?
I might have.
Let's see here. You might have pinned a view. You might have pinned a video on there. Do you have a little pin, a little tack icon somewhere that you would have hit?
Doesn't look like it. No, I can see you. Like it's okay if there's no. I don't know what I hit. I was just scrolling to see who was on, or I was scrolling to try and make it bigger on my phone. Yep. Go ahead.
So you've got like a little window with a series of videos showing all the different people, right?
Yes.
Okay, so at the top there's like a minus, hide thumbnail, show small active. The very far right one should say swap shared screen with video. I'm wondering if that's maybe what you clicked.
Yeah. Hide my video in gallery view? I don't know. No, you know what? Go ahead. I'm just listening.
Okay. So yeah, so like I said, with this, it'll generate that calendar invite, and then you just send it off to whoever is a part of that, and it'll automatically add it as a calendar reminder. So there are other things that you can look at as well. So when you do have the meeting scheduled in your calendar, you'll notice that you have a separate tab in the application called Meetings. And what this is it actually shows you all the list of scheduled meetings that you actually have. And so the one that I have with you guys right now, this one says it's in progress. But if I wanted to start another one after this, I have a start option here. I can choose to edit it if it needs to be rescheduled to a different day, or if by accident I created the wrong one, I have an option to delete it. And then the last option is to copy. So if I wanted to have this set from week to week, I can just copy it and have the exact same information that way. If I have any recorded sessions that I have set up, they will show up in this recorded tab here. Anytime that you ever do record an actual meeting itself, it will be stored locally on your machine. There are ways to have it done through other parties, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
Ethan, sorry,
yeah.
Just a quick question. So whenever you make changes, like you cancel or you make changes to a meeting, does it notify the participants that have accepted the meeting?
So what'll happen is that when you do hit cancel, it'll automatically delete it and it'll warn people that you've deleted it. The easiest way, if you want to do that from the calendar, is if you actually go into your Outlook and cancel it from there.
Okay.
That's the first step that I would recommend. So if you have it in your Outlook calendar and it has to be rescheduled or canceled, go into your Outlook calendar first, modify the entry there so you can send it out to your participants, then delete it from here.
Okay, thank you.
Ethan, can it be redirected to a network drive rather than the local desktop?
That part of it, I'm going to double check and make sure that that's a possibility. I'm sure it is. I just got to find where the settings are exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, too, just let other people know once we get the full-blown version, a lot of this, there's a Outlook add-in, which will be very handy as well, too, to do all this kind of stuff right from Outlook.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll just be a plugin that'll show up on the top toolbar within Outlook where you can just hit schedule, invite, or whatever the case is right from Outlook there. And then if it automatically picks up on a Business Connect meetings link, when you click on the hyperlink, it'll automatically join it in progress. Any other questions for me regarding the video conferencing or audio conferencing in general?
Ethan, it's Nell. I had sent you one. I've been sending meeting links to a couple of the staff that have work Samsung, so they've gotten a link. when they click on it, it hasn't been working on their Samsung, and I don't know what version it is. Kathy would know. So they've
Okay.
had to email it to their home email, and then the exact same link works on their iPhone. So I know that they're clicking right.
Mm-hmm.
So is there something different or something that I could suggest for troubleshooting for that?
So a workaround for the mobile applications, if people are using mobile devices, is at the bottom of the invite here, you'll notice this 10-digit meeting ID. What I recommend people do first is have them download the Business Connect Meetings application and then send them just the meeting ID. And it can either be done either as a text message if you're using it within the Business Connect app, or you can do it as an email straight to their mobile device just with that information. It's just a 10-digit number you send them.
Okay, so I'm not quite getting that. So how would they download the application? So pretend we're sending this to a client. So this is not necessarily someone in our system. So there could be our staff or other folks.
Mm-hmm.
So you would send them something to do a download, and I'm not sure what that is.
So the instruction for mobile devices is have them download it from the app or Play Store on their respective device. If it's an Apple iPhone, they go to the App Store and search TELUS Business Connect Meetings. Or if it's on Android, they go to the Play Store and search Business Connect Meetings from there.
So the first step is download, and then
join and then once they have it installed on their device, they just hit join on the main screen of the application and hit and enter in this 10-digit meeting ID.
So they don't need the hyperlink?
The hyperlink is for everybody else, like whether it's on a desktop or a Mac with a PC. But
how would they know what time it is? Like, I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. So
the time zones would automatically be reflected within their local area. So in my case, because I'm based on Mountain Time Zone and it's being sent out to you guys, that's 1 hour ahead, Outlook will automatically adjust to your time zone when the invite goes out. And it'll probably have like a little footnote that says originated from different time zone, updated to reflect your current area.
Okay, so I would send them an email by Outlook and say, just type in that meeting ID at a set time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, so what they can do there with that is, so when that does come into them, whether that's if it's sending out to a client, in some cases, if they're using, let's say, the Outlook application on their phone, it might have a built-in calendar that it can automatically remind them of it, and then they can just join by that. In other cases, I always recommend if people have, sorry, one sec. So when it comes to these calendar invites, because it's more focused on the Microsoft platform, it may not be as recommended. In which case, what I would do with this is I would edit this entry to be more of an other calendar, so it's more universal for every type of device. And then that way, it can actually work on the person's default calendar app, whether that's using Google Calendar or iPhone's calendar, and then it'll have the meeting ID in the notes of it that they can use to have as a reminder, and then copy and paste the meeting ID from that into the application.
Okay.
The easiest way that I tell people is just download the application first and then get the 10-digit meeting ID from either the link, which it does show here at the end of the link. Just get the 10-digit number from that, and then just enter it in on the app on the join screen. There will be other versions of doing this. When you guys have the full blown version, there are ways that you can just have people automatically join straight from the Business Connect application, but that'll be more in depth at a later date. Do you guys have any other questions for me regarding the conferencing, whether it's on the video side or the audio side?
Can the host or the person who's setting up the meeting delegate a function to someone else? So, for example, if an administrative assistant or a medical assistant is setting up the meeting, and it's between a doctor and a patient, so the doctor or nurse practitioner may not be generating the whole meeting request. What does that look like, or how is that done?
So in which case, what can be done is during the setup, the user, assistant will log into their own meeting, and then when they actually go to schedule it, there will be an option down here that'll say schedule on behalf of Dr. Whoever, and then when they actually go to send out the invite, it'll make it look like it's coming from the doctor himself.
And how do we get that?
So that'll be just a permission setting that can be enabled from the system here.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be something that Eric and I will work on for everybody.
Okay.
So that way I
Okay.
can show on that side of
Yeah.
things.
So we'll need that.
So I'll kind of just give you a brief idea of where to go for that. So under the meetings section here, under settings, I will have options here. Actually, it's not under this side here. Where am I looking? Oh yeah, settings and permissions. There we go. So there's a section underneath here that'll say schedule meetings for me. And then what I have is I actually have an option to schedule meetings on behalf of Jason using my information. And then it doesn't show the doctor's contact info or email address. It'll just show my information as the assistant. Does that make sense?
Because in health services, we'll send the emails sort of from a generic email to prevent like, tracing down a doctor or even administrative assistant. So how do those names get in there?
So what'll happen is when you see the calendar invite come up from Outlook, if you do have a section up on the top of that compose window to choose a from, because you'll know how you'll have the to and then you'll have a CC. If you have a from option to choose from a generic inbox, use that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Eric, do you want anything to add to that?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. Well, that about covers everything for me. If anybody else has any other questions, you can feel free to reach out to Eric or myself. I think my email was sent out to everybody there, but if not, I can certainly provide it for you.
Ethan, I think the proof will be in the pudding when we actually start doing the application ourselves, like when we actually start working into it. And so I'm just wondering, like, I just want to make sure that there's like a way that we are able to access maybe you or somebody for troubleshooting if we need to.
Yeah, so the point of this going forward is it's going to be a single point of contact for any troubleshooting going forward. So that'll be myself, because I'll be running point on the whole transition for the phone system for you guys. I'll be able to help with any sort of requests that come through. And if there is anything that might have been sent to Eric, I know he can always forward it off to me as well. But for the majority of it, I can also provide my contact info in case anything else does come up.
Great, thank you very much.
No problem. Any last minute questions?
So Eric, remember you took away this screen that he has up for me? I don't know where to find it.
Which screen are you talking
What
about?
we're looking at right now.
Oh, okay. So you're not seeing his desktop?
No, I see his desktop, but where do I find that? Like, is that?
Oh, yeah, that's on a web connection. So Ethan and I will have to set that up and designate who has access to what on there.
Okay, because I really don't like this screen. Do I have like I
No,
like the simple screen? So
yeah, the one you're seeing now is just the admin portal.
Okay.
So normally you would have no reason to go in there.
Okay, thank goodness. Okay.
Hey, I have a question. I'm Naomi. I work at the clinic with the mobile team, and I have one of the Samsungs that Janelle is referring to because we work out in the community.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering, like, I'm looking for that in the App Store for this Business Connect. Is it just Business Connect or TELUS Business Connect? Because I can't find it.
It'll be called TELUS Business Connect. And then there will be two applications that it'll reference. One will be the TELUS Business Connect main app, which will have a purple logo with it. The other one will be Business Connect Meetings that'll have a green logo with it. So the one that you want to do for the video conferencing is the green logo with the video camera in it.
Okay, so video camera. I don't really see it, to be honest.
Give me
been
a sec.
looking
I'll be able to
through.
show you here.
That'd be lovely. I appreciate it.
Let's go here. Okay, so these will be the icons you look for. So this is for the main application for the phone system itself. This is the one you're going to want to reference on the Play Store when you look for it.
Okay, I'm just gonna screenshot that. Okay, because I can't find it immediately, but I'll keep looking for it and I'll call you.
Yeah,
Things
as
get
long
weird.
as you add TELUS Business Connect to it, it'll reference any of the TELUS applications that we've got.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
if you're in the office, I might be able to help you as well too, because do have it set up on my Android.
Oh, awesome. I'm in tomorrow from 9 to 1, so I might try to connect with you then. Thank you.
Ethan, can you, is there a possibility to text message from the phone app, like from the?
From the main Business Connect
Yeah.
application? Yes.
Yeah.
So each
And
of
is
your
that's
direct numbers.
that would be
each of your-
encrypted?
That part I'm going to have to confirm with whether that is or not.
Okay.
I'll have to confirm with a couple of my backend contacts for that, and then I'll be
Okay.
able to answer your question that way. And that was
Okay.
Veronique, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But can you show me how to do it, or
Yeah.
is that not? Yeah. If it's
That might be more encompassed on the later conversation here, but I'll just briefly show it to you here. So this will be
Okay.
a soft phone application that's on my desktop that I can use. If
Yeah.
I was to actually compose a text message,
Oh, it's
I
just that.
just hit that button down below and I type in the number that I'm
Okay.
going to text to, and then I just literally type out my message.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
The desktop application can also be used to start a conference on the fly as well. So if I want to hit start conference, I'll use this. And then I have my option to hit invite with text for the audio portion right here. And then it'll just be sent out automatically to those. And then they can
Okay.
just tap on the number to dial in.
The other
Thank
thing,
you.
Veronique, is when you use that function, they can text back to your clinic phone number, and that same phone number is good for text, voice, and well, fax too for whoever needs that, but nobody does anymore. So basically,
What do you mean my clinic phone number?
well, whatever number you have as a direct number from Klinic, so your extension, shall we say, basically becomes both your voice and your text number. So you don't have to use your own phone or other stuff, and that brings all the messaging into one spot. So you don't have to check your phone for one thing and check your stuff for the other thing. The app here will have everything in it.
Okay.
So just to further touch on Eric's point there, so I have a direct number assigned to me of a 587-318-1026. This is what I call my one number reach. So this is what I use for people to text me on, for faxing, as well as my voice calls. And it comes straight to my extension. My main company number is this one here. So if I wanted to make myself look like I'm calling from the main clinic or from my main company, I can use this instead. But people, if they want to reach out to me directly by text or by call, they'll use this number.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions on everything conferencing related?
So I'm a healthcare provider at Klinic, and I just wanted to check in with you about that, because if we're inviting clients, I guess I'm just a little bit concerned about the privacy issue, because I don't know if I want clients to be able to directly text me back. Some clients might take advantage of that issue, and we don't always necessarily have the capacity to respond to, midnight texts and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of check in about that and see what you have to say.
So Rhea, that's really an internal process issue. So, right, like how we would be sending, and you as a provider would not be sending meeting invites. So,
and it would be probably done through email, the generic email, and not through text.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just an option.
Yeah, it's an option, but it's not something in health services we're looking at right now. And it would be, we would write an internal process. So I think there may be a rare client that it might be text only for a meeting invite, but it wouldn't be, the provider themselves would not be giving their own number.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Any last questions? No?
Oh, when can the others who couldn't join today expect to see the recording on YouTube?
So I will have this uploaded by the end of the day, and I'll send it out to Eric to forward to everybody.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Eric, any last minute thoughts?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
They'll start using it, and I'm sure there'll be more questions as they start to get used to it.
Sounds good.
When do we expect the accounts, Eric? Do you remember, do you know now or have a better idea?
Veronique's people are pretty much all set up. The other 30 lines have been processed, so I'm just waiting for the word from Talus that they are live.
Okay.
And I can provide you an update on that, Eric, when I get the chance.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right. If that's it, then I'll give you back 26 minutes of your day.
Thanks,
Great.
Ethan.
All right. Thanks for your
Bye.
time, guys. Have a wonderful day and have a great weekend.
All right,
Thanks.
Thank you. You
thanks.
too.
Bye,
Take care,
everybody.
guys.